Okay students, next topic in the same chapter, units and dimension, that is error analysis. The topic is error analysis. So the name itself implies that we will analyze the error in what? The error in a measurement. So when we measure something and express that, so as a physics student we will consider that the value of a physical quantity as measured is not always correct value, is not always the correct value, or you can call that as a true value. The value what we measure, it has some error, it has some error. So we will analyze that error in this chapter or in this topic. Okay. So before I go to error analysis, let me introduce a new term that is called as your least count. Least count. Before I start this error analysis, first I will discuss about least count. So what do you mean by least count? Again, least means the smallest count, means it measure, that is called least count. So we can say that least count is what? It is the smallest measurement, it is the smallest measurement done by an instrument, clear? So it is the smallest measurement done by the instrument. So least count means the smallest measurement that can be done by an instrument. So instrument means by the help of those we can measure something and express that. So as you know that when I measure a distance or a length of this duster, when I measure the length of this duster, then I use this scale, meter scale, and I measure this. So if I measure this by using this scale, then I can say that according to this one, the length is 14.5. I put one end of the scale, 0 of the scale at one end of the duster, the other end of the duster where it meets on the markings of the scale, that is the measured value. So I will say that in this case 14.2 or 5 something also, 14.5 cm. So the length of this duster I will write as a length of the duster, L is equal to 14.5 cm. So what it says, when I write this one, then if you don't know about the measurement, if we don't know about the measurement, also in that case I can say that this length is measured by a device which can measure the smallest measurement, that is 0.1 cm. Got it? If I will write the length of this duster is this much, then by knowing the measure value by knowing this measure value, I can say that distance is measured by a meter scale of, or by a scale, or by a device which has the smallest division is 0.1 cm. Similarly, suppose someone will write the length of this is 14.53 cm. Then in that case, when I see this or when I observe this length, I can say that this length is measured by an instrument which has the smallest division is 0.01 cm. Suppose someone will measure the length and he will express that L is equal to 14.5371 cm. Then by this measurement or by this expression, I can say that he used an instrument which has the smallest measurement or the smallest division that can be measured by that instrument is 0.00001 cm. Now you observe the values of this one. What this one says? In this case it is 0.1, here 0.01 cm, here 0.0001 cm. Means after the decimal point, how many numbers are there? That gives you this value. 1 point means 0.1 cm. 0.53 means there are two places 0.01 cm. There are 5 digits after the decimal, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, then 5. This is called the least count. This is called as the least count. So, as in our laboratory, now we have, by using this scale, what is the least measurement? It is 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter means 0.1 cm. Similarly, there is another device is here, that is your slide calipers. This is called as a slide calipers. Okay, this is called slide calipers, not caliper, slide calipers. So, by using this slide calipers, by using this device, we can measure the internal diameter by using these two jaws, upper jaws. By using this lower jaws, these are called jaws. By using these jaws, we will discuss this later about the device, but remember, by using these slide calipers, we can measure the smallest is 0.01 cm, but using this meter scale, I can measure only the smallest one is 0.1 cm, but using this slide caliper, I can measure the smallest is 0.01 cm. Similarly, another one is the screw gauge. Another one is your screw gauge. Screw gauge is another device like this. By using this screw gauge, we can measure the smallest one is 0.001 cm. 0.001 cm, and in some cases, in some screw gauges, it is 0.0005 cm. Or we can say on some cases, but in this device we can measure this one. There are other screw gauges are there. You can also measure 0.0005 cm. So my point is that by using the different devices, we can measure the different lower or the minimum or the smallest values. This is called as your least count. So for a slide caliper, the least count is 0.01 cm. Suppose I measure a length, then I can say up to 2 places up to two places after the decimal. After the decimal, after the decimal, there are two places, up to two places we can measure. Then by using the screw gauge, I can express the measure value as three places after the decimal point. So these are called as the least count of a device. And the most important thing, when you know this least counts, then we will come across a word called as the precision. Precision means we can say that when I measure, let me write, when I measure a measurement, when I measure a length by using the scale, the meter scale, slide calipers and screw gauge, what is available to us? There are so many devices to measure the length also. For length we can use practically we have these three devices available with us. So by this scale it is 0.1 cm least count, means this is the lowest measurement. By using a slide caliper 0.001 cm, by using a screw gauge 0.001 cm. So these are the least count. Means I can say that there is a word comes in that precision. Precision means what? This precision means if I use to measure the length of a scale, of a duster or any length, smaller length, 1 cm or 2 cm up to in a range of 5 cm, like that. In that range, if I use these devices, then in the screw gauge my measure value will be more precise compared to the meter scale, compared to the scale. So this word precision comes here. We will understand this precision. Means if I measure by using a slide caliper and a meter scale, I will say that my slide caliper measurement is more precise than my meter scale. If I use a screw gauge and a slide caliper, then I will say that my measurement is more precise by the screw gauge compared to the slide caliper. Means this precision what is concerned with the device used to measure. Clear? So now comes to your, this is about the least count. Now you come to your this word called as the precision and the accuracy. Now come to the word precision and the accuracy. Now I will go for the accuracy. So in this discussion we know that, or we got the information that what is called as your least count, then how this least count is different for different devices. Suppose I will ask you what is the least count of your wristwatch. What you are using your wristwatch, what is this least count of this one? What you will say? The least count of this wristwatch is there is a second hand, minute hand, hour hand. What is the smallest measurement I will measure? By this one I can measure 1 second. If there is 0.05 second I cannot measure. If I will say also, then that is wrong. As a physics student I will not accept that, because by this wristwatch I can only measure 0.1 second. But it is our common experience that we can say that it is half of this one, means I will say that this is 0.05. Why not this is 0.75? Why not this is 0.35 second, like that. So if what is the least count, according to that the measure value can be expressed. And from that we got the words called as the accuracy and precision. So what is the difference between these two, accuracy and precision? As the precision is associated with the device and accuracy is what? How closeness of the measure value with the true value or with the accurate value. Means if I may say that the length of this object, one of the object is 13.7 cm. The length is 13.7 cm. So then object like your, or you can say the length of the wire. I have given you a wire. The length of this wire, length of the wire is this much. That is the length of this wire, this much cm, and this is the true value, or you can say that the accurate value, or you can say that true value. This is the true value. But by measuring, okay, so by measuring by a device, I express this length as 13.6 cm. By using a device, I measured and I told that this is the 13.6 cm. Then here you see this is the measure value, but this is the true value, exact value of that. But I have measured that and I told that that is 13.6 cm. Then we can say that there is some difference between the true value and the measured value. From here, now we come to another example. Suppose that true value of a measurement or true value of another wire is 2.396 cm. Length of the wire is given and that is equal to 2 point, or length you can say that, or you can say the diameter. Let us take diameter of the wire is, let's take 0.396 cm. This is the true value that I know. But by using a device, I measured and I got the result that the measured value is 0.28 cm. I got the value is 0.28 cm. So I can say that one measurement I got 0.28 cm, another measurement I will 0.38. Another measurement I got this value as 0.40 cm. I got the value as 0.40 cm. Now compare. In these two measurements, this is 0.40, this is 0.38. In these two cases, it is close to the true value. It is close to the true value. Suppose in that case, I have another measurement, again I measure and I got the value as 0.37 cm. So compared to these three measurements, in these three measurements, these two are more accurate to this one, but this one is not more accurate. So this gives you the concept of accuracy. So accuracy means the closeness of the measurement, closeness of the measured value, the closeness of the measured value, closeness of the measured value with the true value, the closeness of the measured value with the true value of the physical quantity, of the physical quantity, of the physical quantity is known as the accuracy of the measurement, is known as accuracy of the measurement. Let me write here, of the measurement. Clear? So this is called as the accuracy. Now come to precision. So here, which is more accurate? These two are accurate. More accuracy. But this is not of more accuracy. Now comes to the precision. Precision means what? It means how close the measured value, how close the measured value, how close the measure value, how close the measure values of a physical quantity, how close the measure values of a physical quantity of a physical quantity, how close the measure values of a physical quantity by the with the help of the instrument, with the help of the instrument, instrument. Now that is difference. This is the difference. What the difference? Here these are more accurate compared to this one, but precision means it is not linked to this true value. Whatever this true value is that, but I will get a result like this when I measure this 0.396 cm by an device. I got the measure value as 0.38 cm. By another device, another instrument, I got the value as 0.87 cm. Then by another one, I got this as 0.3 cm. There are three measurements. By using three devices, I got this three instruments, I got this measured value. Okay. Then so my point is that in precision means in this measurement, this is the true value, and this true value, this diameter of the wire is measured by the three devices, and this one is more precise by the instrument. Means I have used an instrument which is more precise to measure this diameter. That is the meaning. So this is called as accuracy and precision and least count. So these are the, before we know this error analysis, these words or these things should be known to us. That is the point here to understand. Next we will go to the topic, that is your error. Because we are discussing about error analysis, so we will go for error. So now we will go for error. What do you mean by error? Error means what? The measure of the degree of uncertainty, the measure of the degree of uncertainty, it is the measure of the degree of uncertainty in the measurement of a physical quantity, in the measurement of a physical quantity, measurement of a physical quantity. Got it? So the measure of the degree of uncertainty means no measurement is certain. As a physics student, I can say that no measurement is certain. In our laboratory, we will do some experiments to measure some values of physical quantities, but whatever may be the measurement, in what the devices, in what way we measure, there must be some error, and there is some error means there is some uncertainty. So as this error is the uncertainty, and we can say that no measurement is certain, means no measurement is error free, every measurement has an error. So we should analyze that error, and we should try to minimize, to reduce that error. That we will discuss here as error analysis. Okay. The measure of the degree of uncertainty in the measurement of a physical quantity is called error. Is called as error. And this error, or you can say that the error of a measurement is what is its true value what is its true value minus the measured value. Minus the measured value. This is called error. So the error is the difference between the true value and the measured value. Then this error is of broadly of two types. I can say this error, the error may be broadly in the or the onset in the measurement is because of so many regions, but that whatever may be the regions, these regions can be broadly classified into two. That is called as the two types of error. So I can write here two types of error broadly. So in some books you will get other errors are there, they are including other errors, but these errors are also coming under these two types of error. One is called as the systematic error. Systematic error, and the other one is called as the random error. Random error. Clear? One is called systematic error, the other one is called as the random error. So now we will go for what is systematic error and what is this random error. So this systematic error, we can say that the error which occurs according to a definite pattern. It occurs according to a definite pattern. Means in a systematic way, in a systematic way, the error comes. So that's why it occurs according to a definite pattern. And because of this error, that systematic error, we can say also the systematic error, we can say that this systematic error is because of our known causes. This is because of the known causes. We know where the cause of this error, but it is not possible for us to minimize or to reduce that error. We know where that error is there. Then that error comes according to a definite pattern. Means the point is that how many times I will measure that physical quantity, I will get an error in the higher side. I will get an error in the higher side. Means there is a length of 2.3 cm. I want to measure. There is a length of 2.35 cm. And when I measure this length, I am always getting 2.34 cm. Sorry, 3.37 cm. Then I got 2.39 cm. Then I got 2.40 cm, like that. So this is called systematic. Means I always got the error in the higher side. I got this error on the higher side. Okay. So the systematic error occurs according to a definite pattern or because of the known causes. And if these are the known causes, what may be the causes? Let me write here the systematic error. Again I am discussing one by one. That is the systematic error. And these are by the known causes. And the error, the systematic error may be because of number one, systematic error. Systematic error is due to, what are the reasons for the systematic error? The error comes in a definite pattern, and this is because of the known causes, and the causes are like one of the cause is your the systematic error because is the instrumental error. Instrumental error. Instrumental error. What this means? This error is because of the using a faulty instrument. I am using an instrument and I am measuring, and the instrument is fault. Right? The instrument is fault. and the error will be there. So this is comes under the systematic error. This is comes under the systematic error. Means if I measure a length and I got this scale, suppose in this scale you have the divisions are given 1 cm, 2 cm, 3 cm like that, but in this one, suppose in this scale, suppose this 9 cm is not here, 9 is not here, after 8 it is written 10, then 11, 12, 13 like that. So whenever I measure a length 18 cm, means it is not 18 actually, it is 17 cm, because this 9 is not printed here. This is a faulty instrument. This is a faulty instrument. So if I measure a distance of 18 centimeter, then it is 17. If I measure a distance of 9 centimeter, then it is 8 centimeter. This 1 centimeter is missing. This 1 centimeter is missing. So this 1 centimeter gap is missing. This is called as the faulty instrument. So this is the instrumental errors. Okay. Similarly, another one is the personal error. Personal error. Means this is the error because of the person who is doing this experiment or the observation. So in this measurement of the physical quantity, due to the limitations, or we can say the carelessness of the observer or the person who is doing the experiment, if he not taking proper care to measure the physical quantity, then that type of error is called as your personal error. So let me write another one is that this error is because of the personal error. Then another one is you can say that natural errors. This is also systematic error. This is coming under systematic error. So this natural error means what? This error is because of the natural conditions like temperature, pressure, like that. That means suppose I want to measure the temperature of this room by using a thermometer, but at this time at 2 p.m. if I am measuring, then I am doing the same experiment to measure the room temperature in the night 2 a.m. At 2 a.m. At 2 p.m. and 2 a.m. the same room has different temperatures. The instrument is perfect, thermometer is perfect, but the natural condition is not same. So this is the natural error. So you cannot do that or do any rectification. Then the fourth one we can say that imperfection in experimental technique. Imperfection in the imperfection in experimental technique. In the experimental technique or procedure, experimental procedure. So what it means? Imperfection means not the perfect formula or theory is followed to measure the physical quantity. Means to measure the force acting on a body, we should measure the mass and acceleration produced in the body. Then we will multiply that, then I will get the force. This is the value of force. Suppose I measure mass and acceleration, but in the theory, when we are using the formula, if I will use m by a, if I divide or if I subtract, whatever may be, there is an error, because that is not perfect in the experimental procedure. Then also the error comes, and that is comes under your systematic error. That comes under your systematic error. And these are the different causes for the systematic error. Then this systematic error can be eliminated, or you can say can be reduced. We cannot completely eliminate this error, but we can minimize this error by observing this, because these are because of the known causes. So if it is because of known causes, then I should make proper arrangement for these known causes, then I can eliminate the error. So to eliminate this error, the systematic error, or this systematic error can be minimized by using perfect instrument, Then if you use a perfect instrument, there will not be any instrumental error. By improving the experimental procedure, means the procedure is improved, then there is no imperfection. If I use the same formula, F is equal to mass into acceleration. To measure the force, I have to multiply mass and acceleration. Then there is a perfect formula. Similarly, there are so many formulas there, and you already know that formulas we are using for different measurement. So that is the second way in which we can minimize this error. Then otherwise, by controlling the conditions of the environment, because the natural error because of this environment. So by controlling the environment means where I am measuring this or when I am taking the measurement, I should make the control of the environment. Then also I can minimize the systematic error. Then the other way is that, or by overcoming the personal error, means while measuring, so by overcoming that, the natural error can be reduced. Then the personal error can be reduced by if I take proper careness, and if I use the measurement, if the measurement is done by the taking proper precautions and proper careness, then I can minimize this systematic error. Now comes to the most important, the second type is your random error. And remember, the second one is the random error. And remember, this second type of error that we should analyze, because this random error is because of unknown causes. This is because of unknown causes. We don't know the cause of this error, but the error is there. So the random error is due to the unknown regions, or these are also called as the chance errors. These are also called as chance errors. Means by chance. This error is by chance, and this error is random. Random means there is not a definite pattern, it is random. I measure a length as first once 2.39 cm, then again I measure the same length by the same instrument and in the same laboratory in the same way, but I got the result as 2.38 cm. Then again I measure that, I got this 2.37 cm. Then I measure this, I got this 2.40 cm. Then I measure, I got this 2.39 cm again. So that is the measurement. Once it decreases, then it increases, then decreases, two times it decreases, then one time increases, then one time again decreases, like that. So this is random. In this measurement, I am the same person doing the experiment by using the same instrument, and in the same laboratory I am measuring the length, but I am getting the result in a random way. There is not a systematic way. So because of this unknown causes, I don't know where this error comes. I am getting different results for the same measurement, same physical quantity measurement. So this is called, that's why I call it the random error. And this random error, here you can say it decreases, means this random error may be called as negative error. Here it is increasing, means there it is increasing, means it is called as the positive error. So this random error may be negative and positive. Clear? So this random error is in the measurement. This random error comes randomly, and because of unknown causes, and because of this error is of unknown causes. If it is an unknown causes, then to eliminate or to minimize the error, or to get the true value, we should know the error analysis. We will analyze. Means in the systematic error, when I know the cause of the error, then I can eliminate that error. But in random error, I don't know the causes. Then where I will minimize. So to make the error or to make the or to get the true value, I should analyze this random error more and more. So now in this part, in the random error, we should analyze the random error more clearly, and in this random error, to get the true value, in this, when there is a random error, to get the true value in this random error or in this measurement, where there is a random error, the true value we should take or we should consider that in this case the arithmetic mean of or average of the observed values, arithmetic mean, arithmetic mean or average of the observed values, average of the observed values is called as true value, is called as the true value. Okay, the arithmetic mean or average of the observed values is called as the true value in the random error. It means when I told that I got the results of 2.39, 2.40, 2.37, 2.38 randomly in the same measurement, then if I take the mean of all the measure values, then I will get the true value in random error, and that is important for me. That value I will accept for different calculation, So that means if x1, x2, x3 xn are the measure values, measure values of a physical quantity q is a physical quantity, it has the measure values x1, x2, x3 xn. Measure values means observed values, and they are random, like that 2.79, 2.39, 2.45, 2.38. These are the observed values or the measure values of a physical quantity q, that the physical quantity is length. Then its true value, I will consider its true value as, because I want one of the value from this measure value, I will not put every value in that final calculation. If by using this length, I want to find the volume of a body, then volume of that body, then I will use one of the length of these observed values. So which value I will take as true value or my accurate value or the error free value, I can say that is the true value I will consider here. True value is arithmetic mean means what? Or average means what? Add all the observed values x1 plus x2 plus x3 xn divided by n, number of observations. How many number of observations I have taken? That is equal to n. And what are the measure values? That number of measure values, add that divided by n. This is my true value. Clear? This is called as the true value in the what? In a random error. Okay? Okay, then next is we will go for how I can express the error in a measurement. How I can express it is a random error, and how much is the error, how I can express. So to express that, another term that is called as your absolute error. This absolute error is required, or you should know this absolute error to express the error in the random error, to express the error in this random error. Clear? So what is absolute error? Absolute error of a given physical quantity. Absolute error of a given physical quantity. Absolute error of a given physical quantity, of a given physical quantity is the difference between the observed value, is the difference between the observed value and true value. Already I know that in random error how to calculate the true value. Take the arithmetic mean, measure value and the true value, or you can say that the mean value or average value, right? That difference, right? The absolute error of a given physical quantity, the difference between the observed value and the true value of the measured quantity under considerations. And generally this absolute error, how we will represent this? Suppose in a experiment, in the same example I take, in general example, that I measure the ith observation, the measured value of the physical quantity Q, the measure value of the physical quantity Q in ith observation, ith observation means I have observed for n times. Out of these n times, the measure value of the physical quantity Q in ith observation is, suppose xi. I got this ith observation, the measure value is xi. This is your xi. I got this xi. The ith observation, 27th number observation gives me a value as xi or x27. X, it is a 27, right? Suppose I measure 3 times. In the third time, while I measure the length, I got the value as 3.98 cm. But the true value of that physical quantity is 3.95. Means the mean value is 3.95, and in the third observation, I got the value as 3.98. So this in the ith observation I got this 3.98. The mean value or the true value is what I told earlier, that is the 3.95. Then to calculate that absolute error, to know this absolute error is the given physical quantity, the difference between the observed value and the true value. So in the measurement, the measure value of the physical quantity Q in ith observation is xi. Then the true value or the mean value is x bar, that is written as x bar. What is that x bar? This true value is x bar means what? This is equal to x1 plus x2 xn by n in the last, that is the true value. X bar means mean value, that is written as x bar. Okay. So this is x true value and this is the ith observation value xi. Then the absolute error is written as absolute error in which observation? I will find the ith observation, so I will write delta xi. This is written as delta xi. that should be equal to the difference between this delta xi should be the difference between the observed value is what? Ith one is xi minus x bar, mean value. So this is the absolute error in the ith observation. And as I have already told you that, this is used to express the error. Means I can write in the ith observation, the value of the physical quantity with error. I can write the value as the value of the physical quantity Q is equal to, I can write this as xi is the observed value and the absolute error is delta xi, that I can write plus or minus delta xi in general. This is the method to write the ith observation with its error. This is the meaning of this or knowing this absolute error. Xi is, that means the value of the physical quantity, I will say with error, I will write this as xi plus or minus delta xi. It means it lies between xi plus delta xi. The value may be varies from xi plus delta xi and xi minus delta xi. In between these two values, the value of the physical quantity comes. This is the meaning of your writing this absolute error. Clear? Then. Now, similarly, if I find the absolute errors are maybe the observed values, now you say here, the observed values are first observation x1, x2, x3, xn, and the true value is x bar. So, if I find the absolute error in the first observation, let that is delta x1. So, the absolute errors in the first delta x1 is equal to x1 minus x bar. So, this may be positive or negative. But the mode of this one is always positive. If I mode means this one is always positive. But this may be positive and negative. There is no bother about this one. It may be positive or negative, or you can make x bar minus x1. There is no problem. It may be positive or negative, but this one is always should be always positive. Similarly, in the second observation, the absolute error I will write delta x2 is equal to x2 minus x bar. Similarly, in the nth observation, delta xn is equal to xn minus x bar. So, if this x1 is greater than x bar, this is positive. If the measure value is less than the true value or the mean value, then this is a negative. So, it may be positive or negative, but the mode of this one is always positive. After knowing this absolute error, then we will go for the another from this absolute error, that is called as the mean absolute error. That is your mean absolute error. Means take the mean of the absolute errors, that is called as the mean absolute error. Okay. So the arithmetic mean, or average, arithmetic mean of all the absolute errors of all the absolute errors of the absolute errors, the arithmetic mean of all the absolute errors of the measurements is called this mean absolute error. Clear? It's called mean absolute error. So So to find this mean absolute error, what we will do here again? Samely. So this is delta x, may be called as a absolute error. Mean absolute means you will put a bar. That bar symbol implies it is a mean. So mean absolute error delta x bar is equal to the arithmetic mean of the absolute errors. So arithmetic mean of the absolute errors. Arithmetic means what? Add all the values divided by the number of values or number of observations, we can say. So here this delta x bar, I can write this as what are the absolute errors? The first observation delta x1. But remember, the most important thing is delta x1 may be positive or negative, but we will always consider the positive value. Positive value means we will take this as a mode. This is always positive. Similarly, plus delta x2 plus dot 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 delta xn mode by number of observations n, because there are n observations by n. So this is called the mean absolute error. Means suppose in the first observation I got the error as 0.02. In the second observation I got this error as 0.01. So if I want to find what is the mean absolute error, I will consider 0.02. Its mode is again a positive, so no problem. But this is a negative, I will take this mode, I will get a 0.01. So instead of minus 0.01, I will take this as a 0.01. So I will add this 0.02 plus 0.01 divided by how many observations I have taken here? 2. So divided by 2. Accordingly, we will calculate the mean absolute error. Clear? So this is the writing the mean absolute error. Okay. So after knowing this mean absolute error, the mean absolute error, now we will go for the relative error. What is called as this relative error? The relative error is that the ratio of absolute error, the ratio of absolute error, the ratio of absolute error to the true value, is called as relative error. It's called as a relative error. Clear? So to write this one, let me write this relative error. So this relative error, that is generally the symbol you are taking this as this delta, small delta, delta x. This is generally written as a small delta. This is capital delta. Delta. Read as a delta. So delta x is equal to the ratio of absolute error to the true value. Which type of absolute error? The ratio of the mean absolute error, because we are taking the true value. So we will write this as delta x bar divided by x bar. Delta x bar mean absolute error divided by x bar. Right? This is called as the relative error. Suppose I will ask you, what is the relative error in the first observation? In the first observation, if you write delta x1, the relative error in the first observation, I will write this as, because in the first observation I will get only one value, that is your x1, right? That is your, that is equal to delta x1, that is the absolute error in the first observation. Delta x1 divided by the true value is what? X bar. So this is the relative error. This is the relative error in the first observation. Second means delta x2 by x bar. Similarly, we will calculate this relative error. Then the last type of error, from this random error, we will go for the percentage error. So from this relative error, you can find the percentage error. Percentage, or let me write this as percentage error is equal to, what you will write? The relative error relative error into 100 because it is always in percentage. So the relative error into 100 or 100% with a 100%. So relative error is what? Delta x bar by x bar into 100 in percentage, right? Delta x bar by x bar into 100%. Clear? So these are the error analysis in your random error. So means the whole thing is that here we got that what is this error, from where, and the error types are what, and from what regions the error comes, and how we can minimize or we can eliminate this error. And for a systematic error, these are because of known causes. If we rectify these known causes of error, then I can minimize the error. But in the random error, I got this error because of unknown causes. If I got this because of unknown causes, then I have to use the true value. To get the true value, I will always take the mean value. Once I take the mean value, I know the true value, then I will know different types of error, and I will calculate the different types of error from that one. Okay. And one thing remember, a measurement of a physical quantity is said to be accurate if the systematic error in its measurement, is relatively very low. If the systematic error is very low, then I can say that a measurement of the physical quantity is more accurate. And another thing is saying for that, on the other hand, the measurement of a physical quantity is said to be precise, is more precise. Then in that case, if the random error is small, then we can say that the measurement of the physical quantity is more precise. Clear? So remember this thing. Okay. Now with this definitions, now we will go for the propagation of errors. Means if these are the errors in our measurements, then if I know these errors, then I can make this error, or I can make this error minimized. After minimizing this error, then I will get the true value and all these things, but that true value is for our consideration, this is a true value. The mean value is a true value. Means in this measurement, if I express that by using this relative, by using this absolute error, I express the measured value, but there is also some error. So this error is propagates, means it goes when I operate mathematical operations with different physical quantities. If I measure the length, it has an error. If I measure the breadth, it has an error. If I want to find the area should have an error. That is called as the propagation of error. Okay, we will discuss that in the next video. Okay, go through this video, go in detail about this video. Okay, don't get any confusion and go what is taught in the videos. Okay, and write and note that in your paper, then you can understand it more clearly. Okay, thank you.